All right, so I've got Mr. Dom Faussette, executive coach and leadership speaker. Nailed it.
You did.
Also CEO of Think React Lead. So how you doing, buddy?
Very good, man.
Yeah?
It feels like a Monday, but it's not. You and I both know it's not. Very, very good. Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it. I love the studio. This is nice.
Thank you.
You guys have come a long way.
A long way.
Yes.
Yeah. So, so Dom was early on was one of our regular guests. It wasn't really a show. I mean, we didn't have the podcast. This is completely different from what we were doing before.
Oh, totally was. Yeah.
But this is obviously much better. Though I wish that we would have understood what we understood about both podcasts and short form content then, like we do now, because we didn't. I mean,
no, we're just throwing stuff out there.
And you were good enough to come down and help me out.
Yeah, it just worked out for both of us.
While I was getting started, but yeah, it worked out. So, so one thing that a few things that I wanted to cover, but first of all, one thing that I'm always impressed with as it pertains to what you talk about is command presence, and understanding how that. I think it's one thing to understand how that works, how command presence is applicable in video and on stage, right? But then it's another thing to understand how it works as it's pertained to your brand and your personal life and everything else. So I wanted to talk through kind of the different stages of that, if that's all right.
Totally fine.
And so let's start by just talking about, the obvious and how command presence is applicable on stage and on camera. And if you want to take those individually, we can.
No, yeah, we totally can. Command presence is something that I hashtag and use. When I hashtag on social media, I use in my daily life. Just to give people a background, I'm prior military. I'm an ex-cop. Command presence is a phrase that we use in K-9 school. I'm prior military. My job in the military I was a dog handler. So K-9 school. It's weird how I'll tell people I was K-9. They ask me, what's that? I'm like, okay.
It's not a code.
It's definitely not.
Really not. I mean, it kind of is, I guess. But
yeah, but everybody doesn't know. So that's where that came from. Dogs. Yes. K-9s, they are animals. They're dogs. And early on in my brand, well prior to me being on social media, I knew command presence was a thing. It was the way I showed up to work. It was the way I showed up in people's lives, in my own life, in my kids' life, my wife's life, my wife's life. There we are. And it's just being true to who you are.
Okay.
And I started utilizing it in the social media space, really for myself. Like, am I operating in command presence on stage? And when I say on stage, am I doing what I need to do on stage as I'm speaking to an audience? Am I doing it in the same way I would do it if I was at home by myself?
Right.
Are the words that are coming out of my mouth and the statements that I'm vehemently making, do I live that at home?
Yeah.
And to me, that was the more speakers I was around and the more I traveled and the more, I'm using air quotes, influencers I was around, I realized how fake people were.
Oh, yeah.
I realized that whether they believed they were being fake or not, they had a persona on stage and online, and they
were a different person.
Just douchebags at home.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I've only been on social media for 6, maybe 7 years, but you see all the guys getting divorced. You see all the relationships messing up. You see all the influencers doing other influencers dirty from a business perspective. And I've always said, I'm going to be who I am. How I am at home is how I am on stage. And I always found it important to bring my wife to these events because she's going to hold me accountable. I've never done anything at home that I haven't said on stage, but in the event I was maybe embellishing, which I haven't done. She's always there to give me the look like, come on, buddy.
Well, one thing that's unique about you, because I've worked with a lot of influencers over the years, especially in past career and stuff. We handled a lot of their marketing and ended up working with a lot of their teams and stuff and themselves as well.
Right.
And one difference with you,
besides messing up your equipment,
one difference with you is most definitely that we don't need to worry about the old TikTok too much, but one difference between other influencers and you is you are in real life who you are on stage. I mean, that's one thing that, one reason why I've actually developed, had a friendship, which started as a business relationship and developed into a friendship. And I haven't done that with a lot of quote unquote influencers that I've worked with over the years.
Work.
A lot of the time,
it is a lot of work trying to build that relationship.
I have a relationship with them because I have to for business.
Exactly. That's the way the world goes around.
But with you, it really is.
We're just dudes.
Yeah, that's right.
End
That's
of the
right.
day, I'm just a dude.
And I feel like the advice that you give me one-on-one when we're talking off camera is the exact same advice that you're giving me when we're on camera speaking to a group, or if you were on stage giving advice. It would be along the same lines and the same on the same moral plane. I don't know.
Any advice I give is what I live.
I believe that with you.
It's
that's a compliment intended to be.
I appreciate that. I'm not the smoothest individual in the room as it relates to delivery, but the way I deliver my message, a lot of people can feel how heartfelt it is.
I think the authenticity goes a lot further than talent. Authenticity will always connect a lot more than someone who's just a slick snake oil salesman. And there's plenty of those out there.
Oh, there's a bunch out there. And even now and I know we don't mean to dive into this, but real quick, with AI, with people going into AI and then creating a post and then utilizing that post on social media, like now I don't like using the word, I'm going to be authentic. Like I'm not going to start a sentence with that. I'm just going to talk. But I think now is the best time for people to really get dialed into who they are, because AI, although it's a great tool, but if you only use that for social media posts, in the event somebody believes everything that you're saying, when you get a chance to speak on stage, which I think that's where the money is, there's not going to be a connection. There's going to be a huge disconnect between the way your posts come across and the way you talk on stage.
Well, and that's one reason why I love video. In my opinion, because so much of my content and everything is video, right? I can be myself on video.
Oh, yeah.
And if it were up to me, I wouldn't even write something in the description, right? I do because it helps the algorithm understand what the video is about.
Correct.
But other than that, I don't care, because I don't think on a video someone's going in and reading everything that describes it. Maybe they do. I don't know. But overall, I doubt it.
Right,
I don't.
Exactly.
I definitely
watchers,
don't.
You have readers.
That's right. And both are important as it pertains to content.
Correct.
But I think that's where AI can't replace that. And we have a bunch of AI video software solutions and stuff.
It's needed.
Just because of the nature of our business to fulfill for our clients, but it's not the same. And it's very clear that it's not the same. Our editors have to do a lot of work to make something not feel like a robot still. Even with the best AI, we have a tool that costs like $13,000.
Is this the one where you don't look at the camera, but it makes your eyes look at the camera?
No. But you can just put in paragraphs of stuff and then pick between people and accents and everything.
Oh, wow.
And you can even say like, hey, have it lift its arm now, and it'll.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It is cool, but it's still a robot.
Right.
No matter what, it's still a robot. We can get it to sound mostly like a person.
Okay.
But you're still looking at a robot and you know it.
You are. That makes sense.
Right?
I haven't seen the tool yet.
Normally what we do is we start rolling out, we let the AI talk for a few seconds, and then we get in some B-roll and get in some other things. That's why I say it takes a lot of editing after the fact, realistically.
Okay.
So that hopefully some of the end people won't notice, right?
Got it.
And it's not necessarily for our content, but we have clients that they need mass content. They don't have a talent, and that's what they want to use.
It's a skill set they don't have, so it makes sense. The average user, the average viewer, I don't think cares to know if it's a human.
Right.
But I think there's a population of people that when they look at videos, like they're drawn to the human connection.
That's right. And I think especially as it pertains to marketing content, I wouldn't want to use that for marketing content.
Right.
I'm fine with using that for clients as it pertains to some of their educational clients or some of their educational content.
Right.
If they have something that's teaching a course or they're doing whatever, we can get hours of video out of this thing in a very short period of time. Right. I think with marketing, you're building a brand. You're building that human connection. And that's really what I think the video, what makes video so great. That's why I love video personally. Why I love watching video is I feel like I know the person. That's why I love getting leads from the video apps, is because they feel like they know me.
That makes sense.
Even though I'm entering the conversation not knowing who anything about them.
Okay.
They already feel like they know me. They already like me. They already trust me. That's why we made it to this point.
And there's more people, I think, using AI or scripts to sound like somebody else. When you, fortunately for me, possibly yourself, we didn't come into this game in our 20s, right? We came into this game knowing who we are. Arrogance, possibly, don't really care what people think about us.
Right.
I'm 45. I started doing this at like 37. And the only reason I did videos was so that my employees at a company that hired me, they could see who I was.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep them off their phones. So I'm like, bro, I'll just do video. I'll do a 60-second video every single day, Monday through Friday. And they would just see the videos while they're at work. And it's all leadership based. I think so many people try to create the cool videos when simplicity will do. Who was it? Was it you and I? No, it was myself and somebody else. Somebody hired us to write scripts for them. It was real simple stuff. It was basic leadership one-on-one.
Right.
But when it came time to posting the videos, and they spent a pretty penny on the video content, but when it came time to posting the videos, they didn't like the way that they looked. Okay. And I know you guys get in your studios, you guys get people. I don't like the way that I look. I'm like, you came in ugly. Like, people see you in Sprouts ugly. They see you in the mall ugly. Like, wherever you are, if you're ugly, they're going to, like, nothing is going to change that. That's why I tell people don't use filters. If you stutter or have a speech impediment or you're not as polished in your talking or your speaking, don't clean that up.
Well, there's some basic things that you can control what you can control, I think, on as it pertains to, especially like social media videos, right? The 1 minute videos that we've talked about. First of all, some of the best advice you ever gave that I've given to tons of people that you may not have always gotten credit for, but was do a 1 minute video every day. You're going to get good at it.
Yep.
And if you don't have a video background, do 1 minute video every day, and eventually you're gonna get good at it.
Your fifth video will be better than your first. Your 20th video will be greater than your 10th. Your 70th video, like every video you do, just like you stated, it's gonna get better. But the reason I tell people do 60-second videos is because, one, your body needs to know what 60 seconds feels like as you're communicating a message, and what that does is it stops you from over talking. And I learned from, after being on Fox and CBS and NBC, being interviewed on all these large television platforms, that when a host asks you a question, they don't want a long answer.
Right.
And in a 60-second video that you're doing on social media, this is for anybody watching this, you want to tie in who you are, name of your company, what it is that you do. So I start all of my videos with, welcome to Think, React, Lead. My name is Dom Faussette, your executive coach and leadership speaker. So what I've done is I welcomed you into my home, my business. I've given you my first and last name, and I told you what it is that I do. So if you're coming to my video because you see that I race Ducatis and I mention executive speaker and leadership speaker, executive coach, that's going to tell you, I don't want to watch this video.
Yeah.
But at least I'm telling you what this video is going to be about.
That's right.
And I end my video with that. So it gives me about 40 seconds in between of talking. And folks, I think people, and I know you've told people this, slow down.
Right.
What you think is a slow speech pattern isn't. What it is, it allows the audience to take in what it is that you're saying, because you already have the knowledge up here. So if you spit it out fast, they're never going to receive it and be able to implement it, because their brain has to move around the parts that they can receive. And it doesn't, on camera, it doesn't sound as slow as one might think it sounds coming out of their mouth. Well,
and speech cadence is something that I think I've talked to you about, that's something I had to work on initially, because I was always one speed, right?
Okay.
Going into it, because I came from, before doing video, I came from the world of phone sales.
Right.
And one skill that I developed in that was letting people talk, right? I was consulting small businesses, and in order to get them, before they would ever trust you, you had to listen to their message, listen to their story, listen to so much. And in order to do that, you just had to ask questions and shut up.
Right.
And letting other people talk sometimes is something that a lot of people struggle with. But because of that, I always had just sort of a calm, calm, slow speech pattern, because that's how I spoke to one-to-one, especially virtually.
That makes sense.
And so what I found was that parts of my speech pattern were too slow. Not everything, right? But in changing the repetition, how many words I'm getting out per minute, based on what I was talking about, I could slow down when something was important, and I could fly through things when I was going through a list or going through
the meat of the
That's
message.
right. That's right.
That makes sense.
But it also did something as far as holding my audience's attention, because it allowed for a rhythm to get in within the message.
And people don't realize that the sound of your voice is very equivalent to music. Right?
Yep.
If music only had one beat, it wouldn't be music. You wouldn't listen to it.
That's right.
There's several beats in a sound that you might be drawn to that'll allow you to put your headphones on or get in your car, drive, and just listen to those beats that are all happening in a harmonious way.
Yeah.
Our speech pattern is something that has to do the exact same thing. So when I do my intro on my videos, welcome to Think React Lead. I'm Dom Faussette, your executive coach and leadership speaker. There's a rhythm there.
Yeah.
Right? It draws you in. Now, does the rest of my video sound like that? Heavens no.
Right.
But because you don't need to learn this. You just need, this guy he's got my attention.
Yep.
Now what? And I think when people do videos, one of the things that they do is, hey, don't do hey. You're talking to,
hey guys.
Right. What we're gonna do? Don't.
So TikTok.
Right.
Here's what we're talking about today.
Don't do that.
Right.
Don't mention TikTok or Instagram or Facebook.
Don't mention any platform, realistically.
Why? Because you can use that social media. Use that video on every other platform. Another thing people don't do is when you're talking into the camera, they look at themselves.
Yeah.
Versus look at the pinhole. Look at the pinhole in the camera, because that's your audience's eye.
You know what's funny about that is you had told me that so many times when we recorded our other stuff, out there. And then when I started doing daily videos, daily short form for TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that, I started seeing a lot of success with it right out of the gates.
Right.
But then one dude replied and he said, you're awesome. Your videos are awesome. And I'm surprised you don't know this, but you're looking at yourself the whole time. You're not looking at the camera.
Oh,
and I
wow.
thought, shit.
The fact that he said
the thing that Dom told me, I know this.
Right. Why
and
am
I'm
I
still doing
this?
it wrong?
I tell people just take a Post-it note and put it over your face.
Right.
And just look at the pinhole.
Yeah.
And the reason why people look at themselves is because they're comfortable looking at themselves.
Well, you're comfortable looking at someone else's eyes. Right?
Right.
The same reason why you need to look at the camera is why you're looking at yourself.
Just get the message out there. Look at the pinhole, get the message out there.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the 60 seconds. Keep your videos short.
Keep them short. It's short messages is so key. And I love dividing up a long form into short form and getting, we've talked about that before. But getting down your short messaging gets down your talk tracks too. So when you are talking to clients, when you are doing things, if you've practiced that 100 times because you've made 100 videos and tested different talk tracks,
correct,
and you know what you're comfortable with, you're going to be comfortable talking to other people about it. When you're in a situation like this, you're going to be comfortable talking about it. You're going to know, this is how I present this information. This is how my brand presents this information.
Correct.
And that's I don't know, that is something that has always helped me. But
I have found, I find it strange that there's people out there that have knowledge, and we're talking smart people, but they've always wanted to do videos and they don't. I still come across people that, man, I've been thinking about doing videos.
Tons.
Videos have been around if you just say the last 5 years. I get it, 6 years ago, a lot of people weren't doing videos, but I feel that everybody's doing them. But what I have found as I teach my classes, I teach people, it's crazy, I teach people how to speak. People pay me to teach them how to speak on stage. And there's difference between speaking on stage, speaking on a TV camera, speaking on radio, speaking on your podcast. But there's so many people that just are afraid. And really what it is, it's judgment. They don't want to be seen on camera. But in my experience, being seen on camera has made all of my jobs easy.
Well, and no matter what, okay, people are always hesitant to do it, but no matter what, version 1 is always better than version none.
Facts.
Get started doing
Yes.
something, always. And so many people struggle with that.
And it's just because they don't know, outside of the fact they don't know how they're going to be received, it doesn't matter. In the beginning, your cousin,
Nobody's
your
going to see
mom,
it anyways.
right? And maybe you're lucky if your neighbor sees it, right? In the beginning, there's not going to be a lot of people that see it. But one of the messages or one of the mantras I live by is change one life every day for the rest of your life. So if I do a video, hands down, 100% of the time, one person's going to see it. I've done my job. My video has done its job.
Right.
And then I'll do another video.
Yeah.
At least one person's going to see it.
Right.
And I speak for Dom Faussette, and I speak on the topics in the area that I'm proficient in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't try. 4 things I definitely stay away from: race, religion, sports, and politics. Those will never put money in my pocket, so I don't talk about those things at all. What I do talk about is everything in my lane. Now, understand, if you're just starting off speaking on camera, a year from today, you're going to learn so much that your messaging might change. So initially, my messaging was just leadership. Then it went from leadership to leadership confidence. Then I tied in command presence. Now, because I get hired to coach relationships, I speak, a quarter of my messaging is on relationships. But it's not stuff from a book. It's stuff from things I've learned in my own relationship, things I'm excited to talk about. If you are no longer excited to talk about the thing that you started talking about, say, 2 years ago, talk about what you're excited to talk about.
That's right.
Because people are going to feel that. If I just spoke on leadership from 6 years ago till now, like, I'm going to get bored. But I talked about so many different things. Why? Because, one, I've grown. Every individual out there, whoever's watching this, should,
if you haven't grown, your brand's going to die.
go back to work. Like, if you
go get a job.
Yeah, if you have not grown in building your brand, if you haven't grown, you're doing something that's not meant for you to do.
Right. Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to.
Exactly. And you probably shouldn't be the one representing
No.
your brand.
Get
which
a faceless
sounds,
brand.
Yeah, that's
Get a
right.
faceless brand.
Or hire someone to do it.
Hire Why Not Results.
But it's interesting how a lot of people, though, like it's again, like I said, passion beats polish every day. Every day, right? Another way to say it is just, simplicity scales, complexity fails every time.
Every single time.
And so many people try to complicate what they're doing. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's social media. Like, if there's 18-year-olds that are growing like crazy on these things and making tons of money, why are you overthinking this as a 40-year-old business owner? You've already accomplished more than they
Hopefully.
10 times,
Yes.
hopefully. Yeah. But why are you second guessing everything about yourself? When, like I said, kids are doing this and they're successful with it.
The reason adults second guess is because typically the type of adult that second guesses is somebody who's gone to college.
Right.
And what happens is, from kindergarten all the way through their master's program, they've taken a test, or they receive information, they've taken a test, and their results from the test dictate whether or not the results that they implemented were good. Well, you live your life, you go into your 20s, now you're in your undergrad, and everything you do is strictly based on, have I succeeded by way of getting an A or a B? And the answer is yes. And you have a syllabus. When you step into your own business, there's no syllabus.
Right.
Your A's and B's is dollars and cents.
Yeah.
And then when it even further, you want to build a brand, there's no syllabus for this.
No.
Right? There's no, you might not know who you've connected to for the first 5 years.
Well, and I think half the people who, supposedly will give you advice on building a brand haven't done it themselves. No. They're a branding person for a corporation, or that's where their experience comes from.
My clients have made $1 million. Well, that's because your company's paying ad spend.
That's right.
Right. I mean, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not the same as building it from scratch.
Mm-mm.
And but if to go back to what you said originally, as far as if you're not passionate change what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Change your message, right? I think you see a lot of brands out there that as the world changes, what they're passionate about changes. And I think that's okay. Like you said, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Right.
And so with that, you absolutely have to go out and find something that you're passionate about. Talk about whatever it is, especially assuming it's pertaining to your overall message. If it's not, at least you're passionate about something. At least you'll be drawing attention over something.
If you're doing it to monetize, then there's going to be moments you may not be happy about what it is that you're talking about. Was I happy all the time talking about leadership? No, but like 95% of the time, I was excited about it because it's helped me grow in my life, in the corporate space, in my own business. Excuse me. As you create other businesses, like for example, when I started, I was self-employed. It was just me. My company, Think, React, Lead, which stands for Think as an Executive, React like a Soldier, and Lead in everything that you do. And I've got the book, had the programs, had a radio show. But as I learned things, so I still have that company, but I also have a company that I run with my brothers and my sister. And that company, we've got 20 plus employees. We've got, a lot. I've got a lot more responsibility. So I've learned things as a leader. I've learned things as what I would call a true business owner. So stepping from entrepreneurship to being a business owner where I'm actually leading people and responsible for not just an employee, but their families, if you will. There's growth there. So my messaging is going to change. Actually, I was more aggressive when nobody depended on me. But now, because I have more eyes are on my brand by way of people that I see day to day because they work for me, or they work for the company. They don't work for me, but they work for the company. And there's a less assertion or less aggressive way that I come across because I know now that the way people see you on camera, I'm not going to say 10x your personality or your persona, but they do what I would say put extras on it. So if I come across aggressive, and maybe I'm just passionate, they're going to naturally think that I'm that way. So I've learned over the years that I don't need to be aggressive or assertive to get a message across because everybody's eyes that receive my message or ears, they may not be ready for that.
So what do you mean by aggressive? I guess I'm not fully.
Well, I'm a lot more.
That can be perceived a lot of different ways. That word.
You've known me for what, 3-4 years now?
About 4 years, yeah.
Is it safe to say, not putting words in your mouth, I'm calmer today, than I was when you first met me?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. That happens though.
That's a safe. It should happen. Yeah. Right. That's a safe bet. So before, as I was building the brand, I was being who I thought people wanted me to be.
Okay.
Now, granted, I started off as the ex-cop, prior military. That's all part of my brand. Yeah. But I don't really focus on that now. Now that I've built a brand and it's grown, and it served me greatly in business, and just building other relationships, I don't have to yell. I don't have to be that guy. I am way calm now because one, I've built the brand. And I'm also a lot more comfortable in who I am as an individual today than I was as I started off, just kind of trying to find my voice, which everybody goes through that.
Yeah, I think everybody goes through a stage of finding their voice, finding how I want to be perceived, how I want my brand to be perceived in the world. I talk about that as far as looking back at a lot of content that, one, I created when I first partnered with Mario. But even before that, stuff that I created at other companies. I was in marketing at a couple large tech companies. Right. And content that I was so proud of in the moment.
We all have that content.
I look back and think, like, even if the content looks great, it's like, that's not me. That's not that's not who I am. But that was the journey to find who I want to be. And you know what? In 5 years, I'll probably look back at some of this content because hopefully I'll continue to develop and grow and think, that's not me anymore either. But in the moment, that's what it is.
This is who we are.
Yeah, that's right.
This is who we are right now.
That's right.
And I was very proud of who I was then, but I didn't know.
Right.
All I knew
Right.
was pull up the phone, take out the cameras, pull up the switcher, do your thing, and make some magic happen.
That's right. That's right. And the better you can make it look,
Of course.
you know, the better off you are. But at the end of the day, just doing it is what's important.
And I think for
initially.
the person that is building a brand, you should stop posting other people's content. I like it when people post my stuff, but most people that share my stuff aren't building a brand. So one, stop reposting other people's stuff.
Why do people do that?
Because they like the way the message made them feel. And I think people do it from a space of sincerity. They want people, if a message made them feel good, they want other people to feel the same way, as opposed to reframing that message and delivering a message that you know is going to make your audience feel the way you felt by something that you've heard.
And I completely agree. And I think it's okay to be inspired by content.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Take one example, and I was inspired by something you posted. I don't know if I've ever shared this with you, but you had a picture where you were in some beautiful place. I think you were when you were scuba diving.
Okay.
And the post said something, and I'm going to butcher this, but it said something like, people don't post because they don't know what to say. They don't know, or they say that they don't know what to say. They don't know who's going to read it. They're at the end of the day, though, they're worried about being judged.
Right.
Take out your phone and share your experience. So next time, the next time I was in Mexico, and you wrote it out, right?
Okay. Yeah.
It was your caption underneath a picture. But I made a video saying something similar, and because I was down by the beach and everything, it just, as you travel, share your experience with your audience, and people will connect with you.
Right.
Was that me copying your post? No.
No.
It's me being inspired by something you said, and then me delivering that message in a different way. And I think that's what you're saying. As far as don't share other people, don't go post other people's, don't go post all Gary V's content.
Don't repost.
That's right.
Don't repost. Like, and you mentioned Gary Vee. Let's say you watch a Gary Vee video, and it's a short 15-second video. And for some reason, you decide to say the exact same thing Gary Vee said. Doesn't matter.
No.
You're not going to deliver it the way he delivered it. It's your own voice. It's your own mannerisms. It's your own hand movements. It's your own facial expressions. It's you. So nobody's going to come and say, Gary Vee said the exact same thing. And at the end of the day, none of us are creating something brand new.
Right.
We anything you've said or I've said, somebody had said something like it.
Well, and the irony of people doing that with like Gary V's content, because I've met him several times. He was a client and a partner of a company that I worked for in the past.
Okay.
And he had talked about people doing that. And he said, what's ironic about that is a big part of my message is to take out your phone and start creating content.
Right.
And then people are taking that message and reposting me saying it, as opposed to taking the advice of what I'm telling them to do. And it's just like I said, the irony of it. Now I have combined, so I've created videos where I'll take a tiny clip, 5 seconds of something him or others have said,
right,
and then made a 1 minute video with it, made a 1.5 minute video with it, but 5 seconds out of 90,
that's
not a big deal.
That's for context.
That's right. That's right.
And it draws, from a marketing perspective, it draws people in. If they see your face on a video and then let's say Gary V's face on the video, oh, okay, what is this about? Right.
Well, and my point of, hey, he's telling you to do this. I know that can be really hard, to create all this content. I know that can be really hard, because I have him say it. Blah, blah. I know people hear that and they think, hey, how do I create that much content? Well, here's how you can do it. And then I'm teaching them how to do it. But that's the closest I've ever come to reposting something. I don't consider that reposting. Like you said, I think it's more of referring to or taking some context to.
Using everything that I post comes from an experience. So if somebody watches something on social media and you use the word inspired, it's an experience for them. Wow, this experience made me feel this way, so I'm going to talk about this.
That's right.
I went scuba diving, and let's just be honest. It's better for me to post a positive message while I'm doing something cool than it is just for me to post me doing something cool.
Right. Exactly.
I don't knock the woman who is drop dead gorgeous in a bikini and then says, only God can judge me. Like, she wanted to post herself. Right. She's been working out and she's built well and cool. I don't knock anybody that does it. I don't have that look, but I do a lot of cool stuff. So if I post a picture of me racing one of my Ducatis, I'm not just going to post it. Check me out. No, I'm going to post it. And then life's an experience. If you experience life in this way, then it's like people don't see me as a douchebag. But if I just post all the cool stuff that I do, I'm like, okay, this guy's he's a DB. We're out on him.
And the same reason why I'll post, like I said, when we're down in Mexico, I'll try to make 4 or 5 videos where I'm down by the ocean and doing and I do that just because, one, it also changes my content up.
It does.
My content isn't going to always look the same, because for the most part, most of my content is either me in here with one look or another, or me out there with one look, or in the other studio with one look or another. And that's not what my brand is really. My brand is more than that. So not only does it make it interesting to them, but we have a facility in Mexico. We have all this, it is our brand is a lot more than that. Of course. And I think that's represented there, but then also it's something different, something,
and people want to see something different.
People are like, hey, he's not in the green room right now.
Right. I use my wife in my videos. There's some videos that I'll just post. It'll just be her. Like the most recent video on my social media right now is her walking. I'm recording her walking through this underwater restaurant in the Maldives. And she's walking. I put some soundtrack to it. Obviously, it's going to get a lot of engagement. I have a hot wife. So I leverage probably every 10th post. Maybe I'll leverage my wife. And I already have a post a picture that I'm going to use for the next time I do it. But also I do that. It lets people know that I'm married. People trust people that are married for the most part from a business perspective. Now, for those of you that say, oh, no, we don't. No, subconsciously you do. If I'm showing aspects of my life, because I off-road, I shoot, I race motorcycles, I do all these things, and I don't post them all the time, but I post them. This is how and why I post the way that I do. When you pull up your phone and you go to Instagram and immediately you'll see 12 images. Mm-hmm. I call them thumbnails, but you'll see 12 images of a person's life. Whatever's on that page, you'll see the first 12. Your mind's going to register all 12 of those in seconds. Sure. So I try to strategically have my wife in one of those posts, me on the track and on my motorcycle in one of those posts, a couple of them with me speaking on stage, a couple videos, right? And the purpose of me doing that is so you get a snapshot to say, yeah, this dude's pretty cool. I'll follow him. Mm-hmm. Or he's into the things that I also want to be into. Let me see what he has to say. Oh, because people are nosy. So they're going to subconsciously think, wow, this is cool. He rides motorcycles. I'm not really into speaking on stage, but out of the 12 posts, you see one that you like. You're going to come to my Instagram page and you're going to look. You might follow, you might not, right? I hope you do, but that's cool if you don't. But I want people to do the same thing.
Right.
I've seen people where all they have is videos, like just videos. Now, if that's your thing, it works for some people, but for the average user or the average creator, it doesn't work that way. So show people you with your family. Show people you with whatever it is that you do within reason.
Well, we're a video-centric business, and we still post stills on Instagram. And, it's making it understanding where they work and where they don't, too. I think is important. But we still get those out there, where it's a quote or it's a whatever, right? Or a picture or whenever I have clients in here recording, I try to make a story, an Instagram story and do things like that because it's just a matter of having some variation there too, like you said. But we do post a lot of videos as well, obviously.
Well, videos is that's kind of what we do. Bread and butter. It's your thing. You guys are great at it. Your reason for being on social media is way different than my reason, right? Your reason, there's a business and you're attracting, I'm attracting clients as well, but you have to show video production.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't.
That's true. Absolutely true.
Right. You guys have the studio. You guys have the expensive, not putting all your business out there, but you guys have all the stuff, right? The average person doesn't have this stuff. So I always tell people use your your phone. Like I travel with a drone, DJI Mini 3. I travel with a very light selfie stick that can turn into a very light tripod and then a handheld selfie stick. So like this weekend we went to California. My wife and I took the motorcycles out, rode the PCH, stopped at all the cool little spots that you would see on different movies or whatever.
Yeah.
And while I was there, a couple spots I would stop, take out my drone, fly it around, get some pictures. And the whole purpose of that, so when I posted my story, you know I'm at the beach, but the vantage point from a drone versus a vantage point from my phone.
Two different things.
Two completely different vantage points.
Yeah.
And it makes the experience look greater than what it is. Mm-hmm. And am I doing it for it to look greater? No, I'm doing it so that people have options to see what they're going to see.
Right.
Because I could be boring, right? I think there's times my life is, I don't think that. My life is pretty cool. But seeing the different vantage points, right? Mm-hmm. And the reason I do it, because I also coach this stuff, I want people to see how easy it is.
Yeah.
DJI, the Mini 3 is the size of your palm. The controller is the size of 2 of your palms. Mm-hmm. And then you've got your phone. So, and this stuff it's not expensive. I think the Mini 3 is probably one of the cheaper drones comparatively in the DJI lineup. And I have all the other drones, but it's easier to travel with that one. So, and I've gotten in the habit of traveling with a tripod, a selfie stick, a drone, and then I have 2 phones.
It's not that much gear.
It's really not.
I mean, when you really think about it, and you do a lot of footage compared to most. I mean, a lot of people, it's like, well, even if you just had your phone, just start there, right? Eventually you're going to want to have some variation, but initially, like if you just document what you're doing, right? And the things that people might be interested in specifically, you're going to be so much further along than your competition.
Oh, easily.
And once you start to see some success with that, then you're going to want to do the variations. You're going to want to add more stuff. You know, the drone footage, stuff like that. That might be overkill for a lot of people. And if it's too much work, they're going to stop doing it, right? That's what I always say.
That's what they say. Oh, this is too much work.
It's really not, first of all, but start with something.
Tone it down, right? It's like traveling, and I was traveling with this stuff on my motorcycle, so it's not like a Harley. I had stuff in a little backpack. If you just get a tripod, and you mentioned the 60-second videos, a minute video, and people are going to get bored of you doing videos in the office or always doing them in your home office. Yep. If you're going to travel somewhere, bust out your tripod, stand in the middle of the airport, put your AirPods
Bring it with you.
Do a 60-second video.
That's right.
People they may not listen to the words that you're saying, but they're seeing that this guy's or this gal's in so many different places.
That's right.
Why not?
Well, and then also it's take a walk through your neighborhood and hold your phone and talk to it.
It's that simple.
There's your variation.
It's a different viewpoint.
Yeah. Mount it up in your car and
different viewpoint.
Talk to your phone.
Okay, so let's talk about the easy things. You mentioned the car, walking through your neighborhood. You could literally be standing in your kitchen with your phone on a mini tripod, and you do one standing up in the kitchen, and then you sit down on the floor, do another video, completely different look. Like say you're playing with your dogs or whatever, right? But it's you mentioned how simple it is. I'm talking about like going to all these different places. No, in your neighborhood.
Yeah, that's right.
You got your neighborhood. Like in my neighborhood, I have lakes, I have lake views and mountain views, right? Whatever your neighborhood is, there's views. And don't be concerned about the background noise.
That's right.
People like the background noise.
Well, and not only that, there's ways to get rid of any background noise as well.
Nowadays,
and sound mic'd up.
Yeah.
There's softwares and things like that. Or get a mic, that's pretty easy too. But yeah, you're right. If you're walking, if you're hiking, for example, I see a lot of people doing that.
Yeah. I don't know why they do that, but it looks horrible. But
so you're walking up rough terrain. Now, that doesn't sound like fun.
No, I'm out.
Go ride a motorcycle. But people hiking, for example, just carry your phone and talk. If there's a little bird in the background or whatever, that's part of that experience.
Yes.
I use audio correction more to get rid of echoes, things like that.
Okay.
Than to ever worry about.
And I bet somebody right now, when they hear this, the thing they captured the most, what's audio corrections? How do I do the videos first? Don't worry about it. I wish these people, I wish the viewers.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people? I wish the viewers could have seen us on camera. It was before COVID, wasn't it?
I was
right
during
at the beginning of COVID.
Too.
the way we were, because we didn't have the right mics, we didn't have the right lights. We had mics; they were nice.
We had nothing but problems.
Yeah,
nothing but problems.
But
Had a guy who didn't know what he was doing running the cameras. You know, we had that
guy.
super complex system, the TriCaster, all that stuff. Everything was off. Right?
Man, was it? but did it? We still had fun doing it.
Yeah,
and we still did it.
Still did it every week.
Like clockwork.
Like clockwork. I mean, literally.
Yeah, it was like the same day, same bad station, same bad time. Like we did it, but we had fun. And I think that's the difference. When you find one, for those of you that are listening, you don't need a partner to do this stuff. Like I had already had probably 6 terabytes of videos before I even met Jimmy.
Yeah.
So I was already doing the stuff. And we just had fun. I don't remember half the stuff we talked about.
No.
But we talked about it.
Yeah, that's right.
And we had a good time.
That's right. Right. And to be honest, a lot of that footage I'm not thrilled with, but it shows how good it looks now too.
Yes,
if you look back at the two.
Hindsight. So I think what Jimmy and I are both saying is don't be focused on what you can't change. Just pick up your phone. Like literally all he's saying is pick up your phone, press record.
Yeah.
And I don't know this statistic, but over 80% of the people that hear this message have videos they've recorded in their phone of them talking that they won't post on social media.
Oh,
my challenge to them is you just take your last video you recorded. You don't have to like it,
right?
And post it,
right? Well, and it's not hard to post these things. It's not hard to if you only get through half of it. Half of the 60 seconds, and then you mess up or whatever. Every phone, you can edit it right there. Record the second half, put it together in CapCut or in TikTok or
wherever.
On Instagram. You know, they all can do it.
Or
they
just
can all take 2 videos and make it one.
Call it a part 1 and a part 2.
That's right.
If
there you go too.
Edit. I don't edit crap. I don't edit anything. I'll just go. And I've been doing this since I started doing videos. I will just shoot the video. If I stutter, if I sneeze, if I say the wrong word and correct it in the video, I'm human.
That's right.
The way I am on camera is the way if you meet me at a networking event and I stammer on a word or I say the wrong word or I sneeze, like these are all things I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. If we link up, somebody said, "What's up, Dom? What's up?" I don't know. It's a long username. It's a lot of numbers. It's
I don't know.
A social security number.
I think it's Mario.
Oh, fair enough.
Might need to change your username there, Mario. So one of your videos that I saw that I wanted to kind of talk about is being comfortable with having flow in your life. So I think you're standing in front of a body of water that was mostly still, and you talked about how a lot of people it's uncomfortable to not be, or it's
stagnation.
Not stagnation. It's unhealthy to not be comfortable with flow and with change in your life. I was hoping to talk to you a little bit about that.
Yeah.
So especially as it pertains to business and, things are always changing with marketing and with everything. Talk to us a little bit about adding flow within our, not being stagnant in your life and in your business.
That video, I was in South Carolina. I was in South Carolina a couple months ago. And I was talking about flow versus stagnation.
Yeah.
And a body of stagnant water stinks. Alligators like it, crawdads like it, toads, etc. But snapping turtles. But the average person does not. Mm-hmm. And people will not sit and watch a body of stagnant water, but they will sit on a beach and watch waves move. And one thing I've learned since I've been scuba certified is the bigger and prettier the wave, and I'm not talking 70 feet waves. I'm talking like a tornado. Like there's no disasters happening, but the bigger the wave, when you're beneath the surface, you feel all the movement.
Right.
But in feeling the movement when you're 60 feet below, it makes for a better dive experience.
Okay.
Because then fish start to move and schools of fish move. And then typically it clears up the bottom of the ocean so that you can actually see further. But in life, I'm no business expert, but I'm on my 3rd business now. When there's frustration, let's forget about business, just life in general. When there's frustration in your life, that, in my experience, is a world giving you the push to change that. And when I say change frustration, it's, for me, when I'm frustrated or stressed out for something that's typically non-tangible, I'm reminded, what is it that I'm grateful for? Let me start with what I'm grateful for. And when I start my day with what I'm grateful for, and I've heard people say this, I thought it was a bunch of crap, but it's not. The goal is to remove the stress. And when the ocean waves are moving back and forth, if you're a surfer, it creates waves. You're going to enjoy yourself. If you are trying to build a sandcastle, you're not going to enjoy yourself because the waves hit the beach and the sandcastle's gone. But typically children build sandcastles, right? And in that moment, if the waves are too big, stop building your sandcastle.
Right.
Go get a boogie board. Go get a surfboard. Go do something different with the same body of water. So how do you implement that, let's say, in a relationship? Like, to me, I have a perfect relationship with my wife. 7 years, we've never argued. And I used to hear people say that. I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, everybody argues. No, they don't. Our focus, let's say we're stressed about something. She's stressed about something at work. I'm stressed about something at work, and say the budget's tight. Well, those are waves in our lives. We both know the budget's tight. So why argue about them? What can we do with what we have? Well, we can just enjoy each other's company. Maybe watch a movie at home. Maybe read a book. I think that's dumb, but maybe sit together and read a book, because I'm very busy.
Yeah.
Or just go ride a motorcycle. You said you live in a neighborhood. Go for a walk. Enjoy the things that you have access to.
Right.
And I think flow, and I hear a lot of people use it, but I see people use it in this sense. Flow as in everything has to be perfect in your life. No. If there's flow in your life, everything's not perfect, because you typically are fighting upstream to get to your the destination. So don't allow things, be okay with things not being easy in your life, but have fun with the hard.
That's incredible advice. And you talked about changing mindset is one thing you brought up there. And I think that, so for me, before I ever tried it, focusing on mindset and gratitude specifically, you mentioned that, was something that I'll be honest, I never fully believed in until I saw it work for me.
Right.
In personal experience, I had a job where I was recruited to work for a company. This is way back. This is back like 2010.
Okay.
When I was in sales, and ended up leaving work Morgan Stanley, which is as a stockbroker. It's a good job. Left there to go work for this technology company, and so shortly after I was hired, like a couple weeks about 3.5 weeks after I was hired, the guy who brought me over there was let go. And then the person who replaced him really didn't like the guy who was let go, knew that this guy had brought me, and kind of had a little bit of a target. And so he was trying to get me to leave, trying to get me to quit too. Didn't have grounds to fire me, but trying to get me to go. And I spent a couple days of just being disgruntled.
Okay.
Really disgruntled. And then I thought about it, and I thought about, I've seen all this stuff on having a positive mindset and everything like that. And so every day on my way to work, I had about a 30-minute drive to work. I would tell myself over and over, I'm a good salesman, that. But then also, I'm grateful for Dan. I'm so grateful I have Dan as a boss. Now, I had to fool myself for a while. Of course,
for the first 15 times you tell yourself this, right?
The first several days.
Right.
Right? But then I started dominating, and then we started getting along really well. And, I've always thought a lot of that manifestation stuff is kind of BS, and some of it is, but not all of it.
Some of the people that it comes from.
That comes back to not being authentic, we talked about at the beginning.
Exactly.
But it worked. It 100% worked. This guy's still a friend to this day. He used to be one of my biggest promoters, after it took a month or so.
Yeah.
But without me changing my mindset and changing my thing, I had to go from I hate this guy to I'm grateful for this guy.
Right.
Right. And had to, like I said, to some degree, fool myself for a little bit. But after a while, I was grateful for him because we came around. We found our
your flow,
our connection,
Yeah.
our flow. And it's interesting how people handle adversity. A flow is not necessarily a bad thing. It's tough in business sometimes.
Yep.
It's tough in your personal life sometimes, but we grow when we're uncomfortable. And I think that's a huge takeaway from that. Like I said,
I think people stress when they don't handle adversity.
right.
When adversity kicks them in the face. And all right, like for example, I started skydiving last year, and I had a couple horrible lands. One land put me in the hospital.
Really?
Yeah, it just messed up my tailbone a smidge, but enough for me to go to the emergency room, get another x-ray done. So I go in there, long story short, they end up x-raying, they found some other stuff. And I remember it was, I think March, I'm going somewhere, and I had to get all these tests done from December because of the stuff that they found in my body. So I think it was March sometime. I get a phone call from my doctor who tells me I have cancer. And I'm just like, you get numb real quick. Like, all right, we're good. But then I immediately, like after about 5 minutes, that was a pill to swallow.
Yeah. I
was like, all right, cool. Worst case scenario. I'm married to the woman of my dreams. Kids are great. I've scuba dived, skydive. I've scuba dived in the Maldives. I've done everything I've ever wanted to do in life. If this is it, this is it. Now,
Yeah.
that was extreme.
I've lived a good life.
I've lived a good life.
Yeah.
And then I thought, you know what? Had I not gone skydiving, I would have never found out I had cancer. It would have just sat there, gone from stage 1, stage 2. And I'm a dude, so naturally, I'm fine. I can make it as I'm spitting up blood like you see the detectives do in the movies.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank God that I was able to skydive. And on I think it was my 5th jump, I landed horribly wrong, went to the hospital, and I found this. Had I not been in a space to live an exciting life, like I started skydiving on a Wednesday. I went to work Wednesday at 9 a.m. I'm at work doing my thing, and then I got a bug on my butt to figure out how I can go skydiving. Guy says, well, you got to do a tandem first. Cool, I'll be there at 2. Go there at 2, same day, do my tandem.
Yeah.
Text my wife later, sent her some pictures. She's like, where are you? I was like, well, I'm in the car now. She's like, no, but where's this picture from? Oh, I was skydiving. Her response was, did you have fun? Right? Most guys' wives, why didn't you tell me that's dangerous?
Yeah.
I'm not married. We don't have that in our relationship. So when I got kicked in the teeth, I'm like, you know what? I have read and I've seen too many times where somebody has embodied what the doctor told them. I have cancer. Oh, I have cancer. Woe is me. No, cool. It's just, and it was, for me, it was like cancer in my throat. I'm like, bro, hold up. As my wife says, you make money with your mouth. I don't. I make money with my voice. There's a difference. She literally told somebody, she's like, oh, my husband makes money with his mouth. Babe, that is not what I do. But I was like, I need to be able to speak. I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, what can I do tomorrow?
Right.
Whose life can I positively impact? And you wouldn't know that I was going through that on social media because I was still posting every day.
Yeah. I'm surprised by it, and I feel like I know you fairly well.
You know me very well, right? But why would I start my day off with, hey, how you doing? I got cancer. Who cares? That person you're telling can't fix it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm already bald, so if I had to go through chemo,
your haircut didn't need to change.
Exactly. So, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to put energy to this thing.
Right.
I'm not. And long story short, had a surgery done. Doctor was like, we don't know how you found this so quick. I was like, I messed up skydiving. He said, that's a pretty cool story. Had we not found this, this would have gone to stage 4 pretty quick. And cool, we're here. So my experience, there's some experience you don't have to share with the world, right? Don't own it. If I would have put it on my Instagram, cancer survivor. Now, really, did I? I mean, given the stage, what everybody else has gone through, but I didn't let it bother me.
Yeah.
I still stayed active as just whoever I am as Dom.
Right.
So, and I say all that to say, life's going to kick you in the teeth.
Yeah.
How do you command presence in that moment?
That's right. Yeah. And that's, you're absolutely correct. And and finding what you can be grateful for as opposed to dwelling on the negative.
Yeah. There's zero, you don't make any money dwelling on negativity.
I think that's a good spot to end this. And so if people wanted to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to get a hold of old Dom Faussette?
Google Dom Faussette. You can find me on Instagram at Dom Faussette, Amazon at Dom Faussette, anywhere Dom Faussette, domfaussette.com. It's everywhere.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks for being on. Appreciate
Thanks for the
it.
invite, brother. I appreciate it.
I always feel like I'm ending a phone call at the end of these things. All right, we'll see you later. It's like,
Ciao.
well,
Have a good day.
we're going to hit off and you're still here.
Right.
All right, take care, man.
Later.